triumphant slayers of bugs. Tonight's intro was Vernen by another goblin of the SES Dream of Democracy. This was recommended to me by a fan by the name of Delta285, and I agree. This was quite the epic banger and a lovely vintage. I can pick out some influences of Nightwish in the rhythm and vocals, and let me tell you, that is my jam right there. The top news of the day is that, after what feels like ages, Crack 2 has been liberated by those lovely E710 entrepreneurs, the Bug Divers, which has since bumped their required kill tally down to 1.9 billion terminids. However, they are still only 22% of the way there. And here I heard that you guys were good at killing bugs. You gotta pick up the pace. You don't want to leave me disappointed and aching for more bug guts, all because you didn't have the stamina to get the job done, do you? Alairt continues to just be an awful, wretched hive of scum and villainy. And while the remaining 20% of the squid divers on the planet are slowing the enemies down as much as they possibly can, the morale is in the super toilet. They lack proper prion retroviral vaccine, other assorted medicine. Bullets are starting to run short thanks to the free stalwarts given out this week, and you know darn well how hungry for lead flesh mobs can be. And that's to say nothing of the catastrophe that just will not end called Leviathans. They will do their duty and hold the line for as long as possible, but there are no two ways about it. No one is having fun over there. And if there's not some form of relief with the update tomorrow morning, I fully expect the Death Frontier forces to completely collapse. In other news, some officials took exception to my comments this morning, which they interpreted as hostile. Let's put all of our cards on the table, Gunvald. I didn't intend any kind of hostility, just a flat statement with no emotion behind it that you can't control me. You don't, and you never will. But that doesn't mean that I'm your enemy. In our talks earlier, a good point was made that the people of the Galactic Sphere know next to nothing about what they're leaping into. My life does kind of beggar belief, doesn't it? The power that I hold? Inside of a year, I have made friends with some of the most influential Helldivers in the Liberation Fleet, obtained potent psionic abilities, a super AI buddy that can eat entire factional defensive supercomputers for breakfast, founded a rebellion group with a secret planet for refugees, and according to Kaiju Jester 02, am the CEO of an ultra-powerful manufacturing company. For all anyone knows, I could just be luring civilians into a trap so that I could turn their brains into sushi and chow down. So, allow me to give you a brief tour of the things that we've been working on at my new home. As you can see here from one of the larger coastal towns, we practice an extremely clean way of life with our industries powered by wind and solar energy without a single ounce of petrocarbon consumption. I also stress the minimal use of E710 as, depending on slaughtering another form of life, vile and reprehensible though it may be, to sustain our own never really sat well with me. But some in the Department of Celestial Science are working on our crown jewel, a sustainable helium-3 deuterium reactor that should, ideally, power entire continents by drawing upon seawater. They're making some pretty decent progress, and such a reactor would also power our global defense grid. Both the defense grid and the reactor should be online by the end of July, and by that point, even if we are discovered out here, the offender sure Schnorzel wouldn't be telling nobody. Not everything can be completely green and pure, and we still need plentiful ores and treasures of the deep in order to make my vision of post-economic scarcity, late-stage capitalism a reality, where everyone enjoys a life of such utopian abundance that it's almost foolish to charge money for things. Sort of like trying to charge for every breath of air on Super Earth, for example. Ministry of Prosperity, don't you dare. I will slap the sloppy stupid out of you. Mining rigs like these dot the planet, and they are mostly automated, reverse engineered from Mercy's memories within the Automaton Collective. As I mentioned before, no one here is going hungry, and there is abundant beef, milk, cheese, wheat, and rice-related products suitable for a wide variety of palates. I never really liked the factory ranch style of animal husbandry that Super Earth was forced to practice in order to sustain its ridiculous population. It always just felt so mean. So I animals under our care enjoy a free-range existence insofar as possible. People living on the TQZ border planets, really, when is the last time you tasted real, non-recycled butter? Have you ever? Why don't you come and try it out? This next image goes back to my commitment to natural forms of energy. The finishing touches were put on this dam just this morning, and it is helping power a pair of desalination plants just behind it, amongst many, many other things. That purified water is being exported to the galactic sphere communities, seeing as how the Illuminate blew up everybody else's. Despite what Super Nestle may think, water is a human right. This last facility on display helps enforce that. At this facility, up to 5,000 fist units can be assembled per hour, and if they're given somewhat advanced notice, they can even bust out fully assembled Patriot and Emancipator exosuits, though at a much slower rate. All migrants to Angel's Refuge will be given a daily living stipend as well, so that starvation and homelessness does not depend upon them toiling their lives away for some evil celestial overlord. If they don't like earning a miner's wage, they can rely on that stipend for the basics until they find a job that they do like. I will not tolerate wage slavery here. Like I said back at the Ministry of Truth, we are done making mistakes of the past. And obviously, universal health care is a given. You would not believe the absolute horror stories that I have read about Super Earth's past. Ugh. As part of our negotiations, Gunvald insisted upon an embassy within the refuge, and this was agreed upon under the condition that the inhabitants of that embassy get the same deal that everybody else does. As long as there's an existential threat within the galactic sphere, they are not going to be allowed to come back, and their FTO comms will be monitored to make sure they aren't letting slip to Gunvald about how to get in here and exploit our mineral rights. Just as an example, they knew this going in and have agreed to the terms. As you can see, my realm is not a prison by any stretch of the imagination. This is simply a sanctuary for people who are just tired of being crushed under the same repetitive turn of the wheel. No more evil bureaucrats with an uncomfortable enthusiasm for slavery of one form or another. No more omnicidal alien warlords with a stick up their butt because their cow was dishonored 5,000 years ago. No more psychos with 13 human faces in a freezer and a mind to make yours number 14. They just want a life of peace and prosperity, and there is nothing wrong with that. However, a word on those existential threats in the galactic sphere. The Legion divers have begun blowing right past automaton positions at Charbal-VII and moving off in an unknown direction. According to Gunvald's intelligence, the Automaton Collective has fleets large enough to repel any suicidally bereaved charge into their territory at this moment. But I went ahead and asked for a second opinion on this matter.
After analyzing the Legion diver's flight path from Choepessa 4 to Charbal-VII, there are three distinct possibilities. As Pandion discussed, an attack upon Marvar would end with the destruction of the fleet and the termination of all involved. This also has the potential to trigger an automaton counterattack upon Super Earth's base. Another possibility is that the Legion divers could be acting upon dated intelligence and making a strike upon Dolph, intent on destroying mining operations there. But Seraphim has ceased said mining operations several days ago. There are no further targets of opportunity within the Nanos and Thegan sectors. I calculate a 98.3% chance that Gunvald is their ultimate target.
As someone who has had to defend against a siege like this before, you need to start preparing now, Gunvald. You'll need ammunition, food, medicine. Recall all forces currently on deployment back to the homeworld and have those Starbreaker SDS batteries ready to rock and roll. This isn't the biggest invasion fleet that I've ever seen, but it's definitely not small either. If you had the Liberation fleet on your side, they'd probably just mosey on up and eat Tyrion's lunch, but without them in the DSS, I don't know. As for everybody else who wants to leave for the Refuge, I am gonna need an answer, like, now. Once these mucky fluffers are in system, that door is closed until your corporate oligarch can run the ugly kids out of town. I'm not risking that psycho finding out where we live, even if we would just give them a closed casket funeral with no warning and no remorse whatsoever. Oh, yeah, one other thing. I saw that guy comment section from the Super Earth Intelligence Agency trying to slip past me? You know that I'm a psychic, right? And you think very, very loud? And I have easy access to an airlock? Don't test me. That's been Liberty's latest with me, Pandera the Radio Angel. I hope that I'll be seeing a few new faces on the Refuge before too much longer. I don't blame you for being tired of war. This war can be so wonderful and beautiful, but time and again, certain bad actors just keep fluffing it all up. And they're always the same. It's time for a change. Come and see how great life can really be. For liberty, for freedom, for democracy, and for the Angelic Rebellion. Viva la Revolution Angelique.